Hey, I'm Kamaka, Miss Purl if you're friendly. Welcome to my channel. Hey, I'm Kamaka, Miss Purl if you're friendly, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the question that I know is burning in your head. What is this black girl doing with a yarn store on the south side of Chicago? So we're going to get into it. Why did I start a yarn store? Why the south side of Chicago? So stay tuned. So 9 times out of 10, when someone comes in the door, they look around and they say, a yarn store? I didn't even know that was a thing. I get my yarn from, I'm not going to say the name, XYZ big box store. And then they ask me my story about why I started a yarn store. I started a yarn store because I wanted a place in my community for my neighbors and I to slow down and reconnect with ourselves. That was really, from the very beginning, I just wanted a place near the home where we could make safely and have a good time. My desire for this business has always been the same, and that was simply to have community near my home. And I know that sounds crazy to say community by your home, but yes, there are no yarn stores or craft places where you could craft. At the time that I began thinking about Miss Purl, there weren't any on the south side of Chicago. Now, I learned how to crochet on the south side of Chicago at my aunt's home, which is about 4 blocks, at the time was about 4 blocks away from where Miss Purl currently is located. And so the south side and the Beverly community already felt very familiar to me. But when I was ready to learn how to knit, I could not find any resources. I couldn't find a person near my home to teach me how to knit. When I finally learned how to knit, I learned in California, thousands of miles away from my home is where I learned how to knit. And when I came back to Chicago, I could not remember what I did, and the first thing I thought was, how come that doesn't exist in Chicago? How come there are no yarn stores in Chicago? I did find a yarn store on the north side of Chicago, over 35 minutes from my home. And at the time, I was working downtown, so it was convenient for me to jump on the Blue Line and head up to the store and hang out and to shop after work. But once I became a young mother, I did not have that luxury. It was a privilege for me to be able to get to the yarn store, to get a babysitter, to coordinate gas when you're commuting, 35 minutes each way. That's a quarter of a tank to a half a tank of gas. These are the things that you gotta think of, when you're trying to do something for yourself, all the other expenses or requirements that go along with that. And that wasn't acceptable to me, that someone would have to go through so many hurdles simply to create. And so I became very focused on looking for a way to bring a yarn store to my community near our home so that people around me would have an opportunity to enjoy themselves and to nurture their creativity and to reclaim their time. Why a brick and mortar now? Because I wanted today's modern maker to have a person. It's pure and simple. I want you to have a person. When I learned how to crochet, I had a person. I had someone seasoned ahead of me who showed me all the tricks, who nurtured my creativity. And the irony in that is that a lot of makers started during COVID, started during the social unrest that was happening around George Floyd's murder. And many people cited wanting to crochet and knit to deal with anxiety, to deal with the loneliness, to kind of come back to themselves. And all of that is true, but the sauce that kind of glues all that together really is community. And so I started Miss Purl as a brick and mortar. I am selling yarn, but at the end of the day, it really is a space where people can do what we've been saying with our mouths and doing with our money, looking for experiences, looking for places to plug in, looking for a person to connect with. At Miss Purl, it's a well-appointed space. It feels like home. I intentionally gave the store a name of a person, of a symbolic person, so that you felt like you were coming to Miss Purl's house. And my brick and mortar does look like a house. I've got this green couch here. There are plants from the top to the bottom to the side, just like if you went to your auntie's house back in the day. On Sundays, we hang out all day from 12 to 6. It's just a hangout time. Not shopping. We're just in here working on our projects, laughing, snacking, and encouraging one another. Community happens when you practice it intentionally. So throughout the week, I've set aside times where you can come and practice getting to to know people. We spend so much time in isolation and quick scanning and talking to each other through a phone that we really do need an opportunity to go back and reconnect to what it was like when there was a Miss So-and-so on the block, when you could just pull up on somebody and sit down for a minute. And that's what I want you to do when you come here. Sit down for a minute. On Sundays, just in a few weeks, we're going to be watching the football game every single Sunday. And that's a great time to get to know people. Just need a place to come and get some help. You need a person to show you some technique. Pull up on Friday and Saturday. I still got you 1 to 3. It's $20. That's unheard of. $20 for 3 hours of work and working on your project and working together. And I'm open to doing that for the community. And you don't even have to buy your yarn at Miss Purl. You can bring your yarn with you. Y'all know where to get your yarn from. But what you don't have is some place to work on it and somebody to help you work through it. And so that's why the brick and mortar is here, and that's why I'm committed to it, so that you have a person here, someone consistently. You know where to find me, and I know where to find you. All right, so I know I've told you all the virtues of a brick and mortar space. I love a brick and mortar. I'm not gonna lie, but I was wrong. That sounds so crazy, but my hypothesis, it wasn't wrong, but it was half right. It is very important to have this brick and mortar space, but in these last 4 years of having Miss Purl, I've made so many connections with people who are not able to come to Miss Purl, and one of my values is to have a space that is accessible and shared, and those two things kept coming back in my mind. How can I bring the Miss Purl brick and mortar experience to my friends that I've made in California, in Ohio, and Texas, and Georgia? How can I bring that? Every time on my Instagram feed, we have something fun that we post. So many people post, I can't wait to get there. Do you have it online? And so we've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it. And finally, I met someone. Sage, who's been helping me. And together, we decided we were going to try to bring the Miss Purl experience from the brick and mortar online, so that everyone will have access to learning how to reconnect with themselves, how to slow down, how to stitch with soul, how to have a person, me, Miss Purl, to help you with that secret sauce, the things that you need so that you can make successfully, you can nurture your creativity, you can reconnect with yourselves and make something meaningful and feel good about yourself. And you don't have to hop around. I'm on YouTube looking at tutorials, and I'm on this channel and that channel and trying to stitch things together. And I'm hoping that on this channel, I'll be able to put some things in a row, put some ducks in a row for you, and uncomplicate some of the things that are so hard, whether you're a beginner or intermediate or advanced. There's always a disconnect somewhere along the maker's journey, and I want to identify those gaps and share them with you so that you can experience the healing and the joy that comes in making and in having a guy like me. Thanks so much for spending a little time with me and learning a little bit about Miss Purl. I hope to get to know a little bit more about you as we go, so please feel free to leave a comment below with any questions that you may have. I just picked a couple that I thought were burning questions, but you may want to know something else, and I definitely want to answer that, so be sure to let me know that, and I hope to see you again soon. I used to tell one of my friend's daughters, if you don't leave, you can't come back. So I'm going to leave, you're going to subscribe, and then we'll come back together, and I'm going to show you a little something, some tutorials. I'm going to show you a whole bunch of stuff. Just come on back. If you don't leave, you can't come back. So bye. So stay. Okay. Yeah. And if you know anything about the city, Sage, my nose is running. I wanted community. And I'm repeating myself because I forgot my train of thought. Okay, here we go. Back and have another fun channel day video. What do you call it? I don't know. I'm gonna subscribe. I'm gonna leave. You're gonna subscribe. Yes.